Hey guys, it's Chad with Trail Exploration. Today's project is another Xterra project. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be removing this rear bumper. One of the first things we're going to do is go ahead and get the spare tire out of the way. So lower that thing down. We don't need it in there anyways because we have a tire carrier, and should allow us good access to get to the bolts that we need to remove the rear bumper. Luckily that worked, because I know a lot of times they don't always work. So we're going to go ahead and get in there, remove that, pull that tire out. We are going to be removing the center section of the rear bumper with the hitch and the trailer plug, and we were going to be replacing that with this Hefty Fabworks new designed rear Xterra bumper. So let's get to work. One thing that's interesting is it feels like this tire is flat, or at least low. And from the looks of it, I'm not sure it's even ever been mounted. So we're gonna go ahead and get that thing out of the way. We're not gonna use it anyways. So we'll be replacing the wheels and tires, but we're going to use it for now. All right, this will get us access to the back of the vehicle with the tire out of the way. We'll probably take this and zip tie that up so it doesn't make noise, because we'll be using it. But now we can access, we've got 1, 2, 3 bolts there on the hitch. We're going to take those 3 and then the 3 on the other side. And there's a little bit of wiring. We'll take this loose for the rear. It's actually a plug. We could probably take loose right there. And then we'll need to remove this. A lot of guys take these side pieces off. I'm going to try to do it without doing that. So we'll see how this goes. It looks like this is going to be a 17 millimeter, so. Looks like those are a little bit bigger. 19, so top one's a 17, looks like the bottom ones are 19s. All right, these were a little more difficult, so we're gonna try breaker bar. We can get some there. It was a bad spot. So the license plate lights, you just twist, pull those out. Really easy. And then there's a couple tabs here, which we'll probably just leave these in for now and leave them on the bumper. And then we'll take this wire and connect it to the new license plate light. So the bolts on the hitch are being very stubborn, so I'm going to work on something a little easier for a minute and then build up some energy. So I believe this is just on here with clips. Should be able to easily remove that. And then I guess the next thing we have to do is get that bumper off. So we're going to have to put some oomph into it. So we're going to go ahead and remove these 2 bolts. They're number 10s. It does have a nut behind it. one. That was gonna come loose. Maybe not. We'll have to figure that out in a minute. Well, if this is any indication of how tough it's gonna be to get the suspension parts off, then yeah, I'm up for a challenge. So these babies are in here. I think what I'm gonna do is get a little leverage with my foot. Move the camera back a little bit. See if I can't push on this. If I was a little stronger, I could do this. I need to go to the gym more. Or any, I guess. Oh gosh. I think what I'm gonna have to do is get the jack handle and put on the end of this. Let's do this off camera. I had removed one of these panels off, rear step, because I wasn't sure if one of these two bolts, you can't really see in there, if one of those two bolts had a nut on it, but they don't, they're welded. So I was able to get some PB blaster in there. I'm gonna let that set for a minute. I cannot get these off, so I will try to let that soak in for a minute and then see if I can do this. If that works, I'll take the other side off and do the same thing. Looks like this has the two screws, and then just gotta find something to kind of pry. It's kind of pinned on there, so. Yeah, so that'll take that off. I'll just leave that intact, and hopefully that will fit on the new bumper. There's a place for it, so. I have one left, and it's a booger. So I don't know if this will work, but I'm thinking maybe, like, you got a lift, you could get underneath here, get this work. I keep running out of space. This bar's too long. It was a little shorter. I might just try it with the breaker bar. A few cables. All right, that was a lot harder. As you can see, I do have the torch, which I didn't really use, but I was going to. Looks like the bumper will come off pretty easy. Get that out of the way. Get this light. This should just come out too. All right. So hopefully, putting everything back won't be near as hard as it was taking it off. That was ridiculous. The way this bumper is designed, you see the two kind of notches there at the bottom. It looks like we'll be able to put those two bolts back in and then kind of hang the bumper on. At least that's what I think. Those in on both sides. We're gonna see if that'll work. So I'm hoping I can just pick this up. Put above that. That's not it, because it's way out there too far. So we'll start over. All right, as you can see, I've got the bumper here in place. This front bolt, this notch, allows you to set the bumper in place, and then you've got a bolt here and a bolt there, and the same thing on the other side. And then there's one bolt, looks like it's going to go in at the top of both sides, which is that 17. So I'm going to go ahead and get all these put in, and then we're going to try to align the bumper. Want to make sure that everything's lined up. Looks like our body lines are a little off, but there's not really anything you can do to move it that way. So, but everything else looks really good. I mean, that's just plastic. It's close, so it's nice and tight up against the back, as far as it can go and as high as it can go. So I'm gonna go down there and get underneath and then tighten up those bolts. Could just remove the spare tire carrier, but I think we're just gonna put a zip tie around it. Put a zip tie there. You never know, I may wanna use it for something someday, so we'll just leave it in place. The trailer lights, there's a little tab here. You just pull up on that, and then this will just come apart. And this looks like it's built for this, so we're gonna see, hopefully. Oh, that's super nice. So we'll, I think there's some supplied bolts. We'll put that on real quick. That just uses the factory bolts that you took out of the hitch. So just put those back in, and then we'll get back in there and we'll plug this cable back on. We'll be good with that. Next steps we need to do is, since we had to get this powder coated, we had to take all the hardware off. So we're going to put this handle back on.
All these nuts off.
I should have shown how this went together, but there is a little seal at the top and the bottom. You just put your bearings in there, and then there's a collar there. And then I filled that up full of grease with my grease gun. And then there's a bolt on the bottom, but I think I don't have any instructions, so I think I did it right. Everything seems to line up exactly like it should. So next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put this piece on. I went ahead and put a little bit of thread lock on this. I just don't want it to back out, so, because it's, and there's a little bit of the powder coating down in there, so I'll probably have to get a wrench to put this on for the first time. All right, we're just gonna get, I don't want to really mess up the threads or anything. Well, there's no threads, just don't want to bugger it up. So we're gonna easily put this on. I'd rather this be tight because it seems like this would be a part that could back itself out over time. All right, it's working. Now we're gonna move to putting the rear tire carrier on. Next step is put this on. There's 4 bolts with nuts. We're gonna go ahead and tighten that up, and then I'll put the center section where the tire mounts to. Next piece we're gonna put on is the rear tire carrier, and you can see there's different bolts. So here, it's gonna go like this, and you have a bolt that goes through there, through here, and this will have to be adjusted depending on, I'm assuming how big a tire you have and how wide it is. So, but since I don't have the actual tires that I'm gonna have yet, so I'm just gonna mount this all the way out, and then if I need to move it back in, I can. So we'll tighten those bolts up and we'll move to the next step. These are 3/4 inch bolts, so we will tighten these down. Just gonna loosen that up. It kind of slid in a little bit. There we go. Probably do that one first, actually. Go over some of the features before I put the tire on and kind of cover everything up. But this is the handle. It's really nice, heavy duty. It's got 2 recovery points where you can put shackles. It's got a heavy duty receiver hitch, and then a place for your factory plug, which I've got that done. And then there is a place here for your license plate. I don't have the light done yet. I'll do that here in a minute. And this is a mount for a high lift jack, which I will put my high lift jack on here. And then it's got this little, once you pop that lid, you just just raise this up and swing around. Now, one of the things I did notice, you do need to have it all the way open to clear this jack. So I gotta make sure I remember that, because it does lock in a different position. So you can see, sorry about the camera. Actually, it only locks at one position. It locks shut and locks open, which is fine. That's perfect. It has tabs welded in to do a table, and I'll probably be adding that. And then I am gonna look at it, see if there's any way at all that I could put a rotopack somewhere on this carrier. I'm not sure if it's possible or not. Yeah, so that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and put the tire on and finish this up. Do a walk around of the Hefty rear bumper for the Xterra Nissan. So as you can see, I've got my factory spare mounted and a high lift jack. And there is plenty of room to put in the optional table, which I'll work on that. I do like the design. It has this little lock here. You do have to unlock it after you unlock this, but if for some reason this would fail or come open, that's not going to swing loose. So you just have to come over here, pull this up, and then you can swing it around, and then it has another lock position here, and that gets everything out of the way so that your rear hatch can open. And that's kind of why the Nissan has an offset tire carriers, because it needs room, because it's so short in the hinge point. It needs room to be able to clear the rear hatch. But it's very nice. The factory trailer plug fits right in with the factory bolts. You've got 2 heavy-duty recovery points. You've got the same rating on your hitch, and then place for your chains. Has the option to add a high lift jack. You just have to remove the foot. I put the foot in my tool bags. And then they have these tabs welded on where you can, I don't think they have the table designed yet, but you can add a table, which that would be really easy to do since the tabs are already there. Here it is in the closed position again. You've got place for your license plate already built in. It does come with a light, LED light that goes there for your license plate. I don't have that installed yet. Like I said, it's got a place for a high lift jack, and then your spare, and it's adjustable. So depending on how big of spare you have, you can adjust that out further, which is nice. I do like the locking handle. Super easy install. I think it's, I don't know, 6 or 8 bolts. Pull the factory bumper off, and these go right back in with the factory bolts. So probably takes, if your bolts aren't tight, the factory bolts, maybe hour to 2 hours time you assemble the spindle and everything. I did get this sent, or I did pick this up at their shop out in Colorado Springs, and I got it in a unfinished. So I had a local powder coater here close to my house, powder coat it, and I think they did an excellent job. I like the finish. It came out exactly the way I wanted it. So thought I'd take a video before it gets all dirty and show you guys what what it turned out like. Like I said, if you like the content, please like and subscribe on YouTube. Feel free to follow me on Facebook. This is my Facebook. And then on Instagram, I'm nomadic.overland. Yes.